You are about to learn the truth most people never understand. Focus is not a gift. It is a muscle. And right now, yours is weaker than it should be, not because you lack discipline, but because you've never trained it deliberately. Every distraction, every impulse, every unfinished task has conditioned your mind to scatter. Starting today, you will reverse that conditioning. You will build a level of attention that does not shake, does not break, and does not negotiate with noise. This is the training program your mind has been waiting for. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Stop letting your mind wander. Your mind wanders because you train it to wander. Not because you're broken, not because you're weak, but because your attention has been rewarded for drifting. Every time you picked up your phone without thinking, every time you switched tasks the second something felt uncomfortable, every time you let a notification pull you away from what mattered, you taught your brain a simple rule: distraction gives me relief. And your brain will always chase relief, unless you retrain it, unless you reclaim control, unless you build the muscle of focus with deliberate effort. That's what this chapter is about: recognition, awareness, and interruption. If you don't see the drift, you can't correct it. If you can't correct it, you can't strengthen your focus. So the foundation is simple. Catch the drift. Bring it back. You have a choice. That's the key. Every wandering thought is a moment where you decide who leads, your impulses or your intention. The truth about mental drift: your mind doesn't wander randomly. It drifts toward whatever you've trained it to chase. Novelty, stimulation, escape. You've given your brain years of conditioning without realizing it. You open your phone before you know why. Your thumb moves before the thought forms. You refresh apps without purpose. That is not accident. That is training. In neuroscience, this is called an automatic behavior loop, a sequence your brain runs without asking for permission. But remember this: automatic doesn't mean permanent. Your attention is plastic. Your brain is malleable. Your habits are rewritable. And it all starts with awareness. You can't stop your mind from wandering if you don't even notice when it happens. Most people never notice. Most people are living reactive lives, pulled by impulses they never consciously chose. But not you. Not anymore. Because you're going to train the muscle. You're going to build awareness. You're going to create control. Catch the drift. Bring it back. The scroll reflex, the most common attention leak. Let's talk about one of the biggest attention leaks you face every day: the scroll reflex. You know it. That moment when your hand goes to your phone without thought. When your thumb unlocks the screen before your mind forms an intention. When you open an app you didn't consciously choose. That reflex is the clearest example of unconscious drifting. You didn't choose to scroll. You responded to a craving. You responded to boredom. You responded to a moment of discomfort. Most importantly, you rewarded the drift. And what you reward gets repeated. If you want to regain your focus, you must break the scroll reflex. And breaking it starts with one step: awareness of the impulse. The next time you reach for your phone without intention, pause. Stop your hand mid-movement. Interrupt the loop. Notice the craving. Name it. Then make a conscious choice. Not a reactive one, a deliberate one. Say to yourself, catch the drift. Bring it back. That phrase is your anchor. That phrase is the first rep in your focus training. That phrase reminds you that you lead, not your impulses. You have a choice, and choice is the root of discipline. The gap between drift and control. There's always a tiny moment, a microsecond, where you can take back control. A spark of awareness in the space between impulse and action. Your job is to expand that gap. Your job is to stretch that moment. Because inside that moment, your entire life can change. Focus is not about eliminating thoughts. Focus is not about becoming a machine. Focus is about directing your attention where you choose, not where your craving drags you. That's the key. And you don't need anyone's permission to start. You just need awareness. You just need to practice. You just need to catch the drift and bring it back. Building awareness through daily drills. Here are the drills. Simple, powerful, transformative. 1. The thought interruption drill. At least once every hour, stop and ask yourself, where is my attention right now? Say it out loud if you have to. Bring your mind back to what you intended to be doing. This single question will expose how often you drift and how easy it is to return. 2. The phone pause drill. Every time you reach for your phone, pause for 3 seconds. Not 2, not 1, 3. Use those 3 seconds to identify your intention. If there's no intention, put the phone down. This drill rewires the scroll reflex from unconscious to conscious. 3. The environment check drill. Before beginning any task, look around your environment. Remove one distraction. Just one. A tab, a notification, a piece of clutter. Each removal is a rep. Each rep strengthens the muscle. Remember the mantra. Catch the drift. Bring it back. Why this works? Because your brain loves patterns. It learns through repetition. It strengthens what you repeat. Right now, you've practiced drifting for years. You've repeated distraction so often it became a default. But defaults can be changed. Defaults can be overwritten. Defaults can be rebuilt. Focus isn't magic. It's training. Focus isn't talent. It's repetition. Focus isn't luck. It's discipline. And discipline is built one moment at a time. You have a choice. You always have a choice. And every time you choose to return your attention, you're doing a rep. 1 rep becomes 5. 5 become 10. 10 become a lifestyle. That's how the muscle grows. That's how you build unshakable attention. You're going to notice something in the next few days. A shift, a change, a new awareness. You'll start catching yourself drifting earlier. You'll feel the impulse before it takes over. You'll recognize the moments you used to ignore. That is progress. That is the muscle growing. That is the beginning of mastery. Most people never reach this point because they never slow down enough to notice what their mind is doing. But you're different now. You're training your focus. You're reclaiming your attention. You're rewriting your patterns. Say it again with intention. Catch the drift. Bring it back. You've taken the first step, awareness. You've learned to recognize the drift. You've learned to interrupt it. But awareness is only the foundation. Now you must learn to channel your attention with force, with intention, with precision. You stopped wandering. Now it's time to dominate. Chapter 2. Build the habit of single-task dominance. You have a problem you may not even notice. A silent drain on your power. A leak in your attention that destroys your ability to perform at your highest level. That problem is splitting your focus. Trying to do multiple things at once. Switching tasks the moment something becomes mildly uncomfortable. Telling yourself you're being productive while your mind is scattered in 5 different directions. But here's the truth. Multitasking is a lie. You don't multitask. You task switch. And every switch weakens you. If Chapter 1 taught you awareness, this chapter teaches you direction. Real direction. Focused direction. Single task dominance. Because if you want to train your focus like a muscle, you must stop pretending you can lift 5 weights at the same time. You can't. Your mind wasn't designed for division. It was designed for immersion. The strongest thinkers, the clearest performers, the most reliable creators, they all know one principle, one task, one direction, one outcome. Let that phrase lead you through this chapter. Repeat it as a command. Repeat it as discipline. Repeat it until your mind understands it's no longer allowed to split itself into pieces. The single task protocol. This is your training plan. The exact technique that takes you from scattered and reactive to controlled and deliberate. It's simple, almost too simple, but simple is what works. Simple is what sticks. The single task protocol has 3 parts. 1. One task. Choose the one thing that matters right now. Not 3, not 5. 1. What is the action that deserves your full attention? Name it. Commit to it. This is the task you will dominate. 2. One timer. Set a timer for a fixed block, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. The length doesn't matter. The commitment does. When a timer runs, your focus runs with it. No drifting, no switching, no negotiating. 3. Zero split attention. This is the rule that transforms you. No alternate tabs, no second screens, no notifications, no quick checks. You train your mind to stay on the rails, no matter how strong the pull of distraction becomes. This is how you build cognitive endurance. This is how you strengthen the muscle. This is how you prove to yourself that your attention belongs to you, not to your impulses. Say it again. One task, one direction, one outcome. That is the protocol. That is the training. That is the path to mastery. Why this system works. Your brain loves depth, not division. It thrives when it can immerse itself fully in one purpose. It struggles when forced to bounce constantly between shallow goals. Every time you switch tasks, your brain must reload context. It must recalibrate. It must reorient. This takes time. This burns mental energy. This weakens your endurance. You think you're saving time by multitasking, but you're actually losing minutes, losing clarity, losing momentum. When you single task, you do the opposite. You save energy. You build rhythm. You move deeper and deeper into the state of flow, where performance becomes effortless. Focus is not about effort. It's about alignment. And alignment is created when all your mental resources aim at the same target. One task, one direction, one outcome. The elite performer principle. There's a reason elite athletes don't train every muscle at once. There's a reason world-class musicians practice one section repeatedly before moving on. There's a reason top thinkers isolate problems and attack them with intense concentration. Because mastery requires immersion. Dominance requires depth. Greatness requires focus. Elite performers don't scatter their energy. They channel it. They direct it like a laser beam. They understand that every rep counts, and that a rep divided is a rep wasted. When a sprinter is training starts, they train starts. When a pianist is training a passage, they train that passage. When a coder, writer, or strategist is locked into a task, they stay locked in until the cycle is complete. They don't check messages mid-rep. They don't break concentration because a thought appears. They don't let impulses negotiate with the objective, because they know one truth. The mind becomes what it repeatedly does. If you repeat distraction, you become distracted. If you repeat drift, you become reactive. But if you repeat immersion, you become focused. You become powerful. You become dependable. And it starts with the same command, one task, one direction, one outcome. Behavior changes you must implement today. If you want to dominate your focus, you must make actual changes, not mental promises. Here's what you implement immediately. 1. Reduce simultaneous goals. Pick fewer tasks. Do them better. Quality over quantity. Depth over chaos. 2. In the open tab addiction. Every unnecessary tab is a micro distraction waiting to pull you away. Close everything except what serves the task. One screen, one purpose. 3. Use intentional breaks, not random escapes. You don't earn a break by drifting. You earn a break by completing the cycle. Finish the work block, then step away deliberately. 4. Stop treating your brain like it's limitless. Your attention has boundaries. Respecting those boundaries makes you stronger. Ignoring them makes you scattered. These aren't preferences. These are requirements. If you want to build the habit of single task dominance, you must live like someone who refuses divided energy. The mental shift. There's a moment that will happen if you stick to this protocol long enough. A quiet moment where your mind snaps into alignment, where you feel the strength of being fully present, where you stop running in 5 directions and start driving forward with power. It feels like clarity. It feels like peace. It feels like control. That shift is the reward. That shift is the proof. That shift is the beginning of mastery. And once you feel it, you'll never want to go back, because you'll realize how much of your life was wasted in mental fragmentation, how much energy you lost switching, how many opportunities you diluted by scattering your focus. But not anymore. Not after this chapter. Not once you commit to the protocol. Say it again. Say it with conviction. One task, one direction, one outcome. This is who you're becoming. A person who finishes what you start. A person whose attention is sharp. A person whose mind is aligned with their purpose. You now know how to direct your focus, how to aim it like a weapon, how to choose one task, set one timer, and eliminate split attention. But direction is only half the battle. Now you must remove the invisible forces pulling you off your path. In the next chapter, you're going to eliminate everything that weakens you. Chapter 3, cut the noise that weakens you. You want stronger focus. You want deeper discipline. You want a mind that responds on command. But here's the truth most people never face. Your focus isn't weak because you lack talent. Your focus is weak because your environment leaks. Every day, you're surrounded by tiny, invisible distractions that drain you before you even start your real work. Notifications, open loops, mental clutter, digital noise, half-finished tasks, all of it. It stacks, it piles, it erodes you. And if you don't cut the noise will cut your potential. Say it with me. If it steals attention, it steals your results. You must understand this. Attention is not free. Attention is not infinite. Attention is not casual. Attention is a currency. And every time you let noise grab a piece of it, you are paying a price. The problem is you're paying it unconsciously. You think you're just checking something real quick. You think you're just keeping up. You think the little distractions don't matter. But they do. They add up. They drain your mental battery one drop at a time, until you're too empty to do anything meaningful. That's the key. Most people fail not because they lack effort, but because they allow too much noise into their system. Their attention is scattered before the day even starts. And scattered attention leads to scattered results. Look at your own life. How many times have you sat down to focus, only to realize your phone buzzed twice, an email popped up, a random thought pulled you off track, and now you're doing something completely unrelated? How many times did it happen without you even noticing? That's noise. And noise compounds the same way interest does. Except instead of building your wealth, it steals your potential. Say it again. If it steals attention, it steals your results. Let me show you how destructive this really is. There's something called context switching cost. Every time your brain shifts from one task to another, even for a second, it loses momentum. It takes time to reload the mental state required for deep work. Studies suggest it can take anywhere from 30 seconds to several minutes to fully recover from a single minor distraction. Multiply that by the hundreds of distractions you entertain every day, and suddenly you understand why most people never hit their goals. They're not lazy, they're noisy. So here's what you need: a noise audit. One of the most powerful exercises you'll ever do for your focus. And you're going to hear about someone who did it and cut their distractions by nearly 40% in one single day. A client of mine was struggling with productivity. smart, capable, ambitious. But every day ended the same way, frustrated, scattered, drained. I told him, your problem isn't your abilities. Your problem is your noise. And I made him do a simple audit. For 3 days, he had to write down every single time his focus broke. Every notification, every impulse, every mental drift, every moment of digital clutter. And the results shocked him. He discovered that he wasn't being distracted every hour. He was being distracted every 4 minutes. A buzzing group chat here, an email preview there, a quick check of social media, a thought about something he forgot to do, a tab left open, a bookmark he never read. It all counted. It all chipped away at his attention. And he realized the truth. He was losing more energy to noise than to actual work. So he eliminated the triggers. Turn off notifications. Yes, all of them that weren't essential. Deleted and used apps. Closed 37 open browser tabs. Cleaned his workspace. Scheduled all communication into specific time blocks. And by the end of that first day of changes, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Clarity. He didn't magically gain discipline. He didn't miraculously become a new person. He simply removed what was weakening him. And that alone increased his focus capacity by 40% in one day. Say it with me. If it steals attention, it steals your results. Now let's talk about your life. Because right now, you have noise that you've normalized. Noise that you call normal or just how things are. But normal is not the goal. Focus is the goal. Progress is the goal. Mastery is the goal. It's time to confront the sources of noise draining you. 1. Digital alerts you don't need. Your phone is not your boss. Your apps are not your commanders. You do not need to respond instantly to anything that isn't life-changing. If your phone controls your attention, your potential is limited by a piece of glass. That's not discipline. That's dependence. 2. Open loops that drain mental energy. An open loop is anything you've started but haven't finished. A decision waiting to be made. A task waiting to be done. A conversation waiting to happen. Each loop occupies mental space. And too many loops create mental chaos. You need to close them or eliminate them. You have a choice. 3. Physical clutter that signals disorder. A messy environment creates a messy mind. This isn't philosophy, it's psychology. When your surroundings remind you of unfinished tasks, your brain can't achieve deep focus. Clean space. Clean mind. Clean execution. 4. Mental clutter created by unconscious habits. Random scrolling. Impulse checking. Jumping from thought to thought. This is the hardest noise to identify because it feels internal. But it's noise and it weakens you. Just one quick peek has destroyed more goals than lack of motivation ever has. Remember this. Noise is not harmless. Noise is not neutral. Noise is not background. Noise is a thief. And you've been giving it free access to your mind. That ends now. You're going to perform your own noise audit. Today. Not tomorrow. Not when you have time. Today. Because every day you delay, noise wins. For the next 24 hours, track every distraction, every notification, every tab, every mental drift, every time your attention slips. Don't judge it. Document it. By the end, you will see the truth. You're not unfocused. You're overloaded. And once you know where the leaks are, you can seal them. You can reclaim your mental strength. You can build the foundation for real focus. And I'll repeat it until it becomes unshakable inside you. If it steals attention, it steals your results. One more time. If it steals attention, it steals your results. Cut the noise. Protect your focus. Guard your mind like it matters, because it does. The world rewards people who can control their environment, not react to it. Now that you've cleared the noise, now that you've strengthened your mental environment, you're ready for the next piece of mastery. the internal architecture of your mind itself. Chapter 4. Make boredom your training partner. You think boredom is your enemy. You think boredom means something is wrong. You think boredom is a sign you should switch tasks, grab your phone, check a notification, or chase a hit of stimulation. But let me tell you the truth that nobody teaches you. Boredom is not a weakness. Boredom is not a problem. Boredom is your training partner. And if you learn to train with it, you will develop a level of focus that most people never reach in their entire lifetime. Listen closely. Your mind is addicted to stimulation, constant novelty, constant speed, constant noise. The moment things slow down, the moment things get quiet, the moment the world stops entertaining you, your brain panics. It starts reaching for shortcuts. It starts craving distractions. It starts begging for something, anything to fill the silence. That reaction isn't natural. It's conditioned. Conditioned by endless scrolling. Conditioned by notifications. Conditioned by a short-form stimulation. Conditioned by an environment that has rewired your brain to fear stillness. But here's the paradox. The exact thing you avoid, the boredom, the silence, the stillness, is the very environment where deep focus is built. Say it with me. Boredom builds you. Stimulation weakens you. Let's make this clear. Deep focus doesn't come from doing more things. It comes from being able to do less things longer. And the only way to develop that capacity is to practice staying with a single moment, a single task, a single experience, without letting your mind run away. You have to train your brain the same way athletes train their bodies. You don't get stronger by avoiding resistance. You get stronger by pushing through it. And boredom is mental resistance. Boredom is the weight you lift to develop cognitive endurance. Boredom is the signal that you're exactly where the growth is happening. Think of it like this. The first few seconds of boredom are just the warm-up. The next minute is the stretch. Then the real training begins. Most people never make it past the warm-up. They feel a flicker of boredom and immediately escape into stimulation. They reward the escape. And what you reward becomes your habit. That's why your attention feels weak. That's why your concentration breaks so easily. That's why your mind wanders before you even start. You haven't trained with boredom. You've run from it. And what you run from, you fear. What you fear controls you. But you have a choice. You can train a different response. You can build a different mind. Let me give you a simple, real-world example. The 5-minute stillness drill. Sit. No phone. No music. No scrolling. No stimulation. Just you and your breath for 5 minutes. 5 minutes of stillness. 5 minutes of boredom. 5 minutes of confronting your own mind without the escape hatch you've been using your whole life. Most people can't do it. They crack after 30 seconds. Their leg twitches. Their hand moves toward their pocket. They think of something they need to check. But that's the point. That discomfort is the doorway. That restlessness is the training. That urge to escape is exactly what you're trying to weaken. And every time you sit through it, every time you push past the urge, you're building mental endurance. You're building discipline. You're teaching your brain a new rule. I am in control, not the stimulus. Say it again, boredom builds you. Stimulation weakens you. Let's look at high performers. You think they never get bored? Of course they do, but they train their response differently. A writer sits with a blank page for hours. A musician practices the same scale until their fingers burn. An athlete follows the same routine day after day, year after year. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting. It's not stimulating, but builds mastery. The difference is not talent. The difference is tolerance. High performers don't escape boredom. They embrace it. They understand that the person who can outlast boredom wins. The person who can stay with the repetition, stay with the silence, stay with the monotony, becomes unstoppable. And here's something you need to hear. Boredom is not a lack of stimulation. It's a lack of commitment. When you fully commit to what's in front of you, when you fully commit to the task, the project, the process, boredom dissolves. It only exists when your mind hasn't learned to stay. Not wander. Stay. That's why this chapter matters. Because if you cannot sit with yourself for 5 minutes, how can you expect to sit with your goals for 5 months? If you cannot resist the urge to check your phone, how can you resist the pressure that comes with building something meaningful? If you cannot handle boredom, you cannot handle mastery. But you can change this. You can retrain your mind. You can build a new standard. And it starts with one simple rule. Do not flee boredom. Face it. Here is a 3-step boredom training protocol. Step 1, daily stillness drill. 5 minutes. No stimulation. Sit in silence and breathe. You will feel the urge to escape. Don't. You will feel restless. Stay. You will feel discomfort. Good. That's the training. That's the strengthening. Boredom builds you. Step 2, single task engagement. Pick one task. One simple task, like washing dishes or writing a paragraph. Do it slowly. Do it intentionally. Do it without reaching for anything else. Let the boredom surface. Then keep going. Resist the escape. That's where your focus expands. Step 3, delayed stimulation. Every time you feel the urge to check your phone, delay it by 30 seconds. Then 60 seconds. Then 2 minutes. Stretch your tolerance. Build your discipline. Teach your mind that the world doesn't collapse if you don't get stimulation immediately. What collapses is distraction. Remember, boredom is not the enemy. It's the doorway. Every moment of boredom is a chance to strengthen your focus. Every moment of stillness is a chance to break your addiction to stimulation. Every moment you stay, when you would normally flee, is a victory. Say it again until it becomes part of your identity. Boredom builds you. Stimulation weakens you. One more time, boredom builds you. Stimulation weakens you. You are training your mind. You are building endurance. You are building discipline. And every time you choose boredom over stimulation, you sharpen the weapon that will carry you through the rest of this audiobook, your ability to stay with what matters. Now that you've learned to sit with boredom, now that you've learned to resist the pull of stimulation, it's time to turn the tables and face the internal resistance you've been avoiding. Chapter 5, Repetition is your real superpower. You want results fast. You want transformation overnight. You want shortcuts, hacks, and tricks. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Shortcuts don't exist. Hacks fade. Tricks vanish. If you want real change, real focus, real mastery, it comes down to one thing: repetition. Yes, repetition. The consistent, daily practice of the same focus-building actions. That's your real superpower. Not motivation, not inspiration, not luck. Repetition rewires you. Most people misunderstand repetition. They think doing the same thing every day is boring, meaningless, or ineffective. They chase novelty, new techniques, flashy methods, and they burn out. But here's the key. Nothing rewires the brain faster than repetition. Nothing hardwires discipline deeper than repetition. Nothing turns effort into identity faster than repetition. And that's exactly what you need to understand if you want to train your focus like a muscle. Let me make it simple. The brain builds strength through consistent load, just like a muscle. If you want a stronger body, you lift the same weight over and over. You don't switch to a different exercise every hour. You don't skip reps. You don't do it once and quit. You repeat. That's exactly how the mind works. Every time you repeat a focus exercise, every time you sit still, every time you resist distraction, you're strengthening neural pathways. You're creating the architecture for attention. You're turning effort into automatic skill. Here's a real-world example. A client of mine decided to spend just 10 minutes a day on deliberate focus exercises. That's all. 10 minutes. No distractions, no multitasking, no excuses. He practiced deep breathing, mental stillness, and single-task immersion daily. On day 1, it felt awkward. On day 7, he noticed clarity. On day 14, he noticed less wandering. By day 30, he experienced something remarkable: exponential gains. He could focus for longer, resist distraction effortlessly, and approach tasks with a sense of control that he never had before. One small daily action, repeated consistently, completely rewired his mental capacity. The lesson is clear. Small actions, repeated relentlessly, compound into extraordinary results. Repetition is not tedious, it's transformative. And the magic happens not in the first day, not in the first week, but in the consistent daily application. This is why elite performers never rely on motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Repetition is permanent. Repetition rewires you. Let me give you 3 principles to make repetition your superpower. Principle 1, commit to a daily minimum. It doesn't matter if it's 5 minutes or 20 minutes. What matters is consistency. Show up every day. Show up even when you don't feel like it. Show up even when it's uncomfortable. The act of showing up is what your brain remembers. The neural pathways get stronger. The habit becomes identity. Repetition rewires you. Principle 2, make it non-negotiable. No excuses. No compromises. You don't try. You do. Set a fixed time, a fixed space, a fixed method. Treat it like brushing your teeth or eating a meal. These daily actions become a non-negotiable part of your identity. Discipline is built in the daily, mundane, repetitive acts, not in bursts of willpower. Repetition rewires you. Principle 3, track and measure. Nothing motivates like visible progress. Keep a log, a calendar, a journal, whatever you need to see the accumulation of your effort. Every check mark, every note, every record tells your brain, this is real. You're building. You are consistent. And that tracking reinforces the neural circuit of consistency. Repetition rewires you. Here's the truth you must internalize. Identity is built on repetition. You don't become disciplined by trying hard once or twice. You become disciplined by showing up every day, consistently, without exception. The repeated action becomes automatic. The automatic action becomes your default. Your default becomes who you are. Think about it. A person who trains focus every day for 10 minutes doesn't think about it. They do it automatically. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on routine. They don't negotiate with impulses. They follow the process. That's how mastery forms. That's how habits become identity. That's how effort turns into effortless strength. Let's talk about the mechanics of this brain rewiring. Every time you repeat a focus exercise, neurons fire together. The more you fire them together, the stronger they connect. These connections eventually become the highways of attention. Distraction has to work harder to pull you away. The mind that once wandered constantly now follows the path of least resistance, the path you created through repetition. It's neurological, it's measurable, it's unstoppable. Repetition rewires you. But here's a warning: repetition is not glamorous. Repetition is not exciting. Repetition is not entertaining. It's boring. It's uncomfortable. That's exactly why it works. The things that are easy, fun, and flashy do not build mental endurance. Only consistent, deliberate, repeated effort does. The moment you embrace the daily grind, the moment you accept the repetition, the moment you no longer resist, that's the moment you level up. That's the moment your brain starts to change in ways shortcuts cannot replicate. You must also understand the compounding effect. One day of repetition doesn't seem like much. 1 week of repetition barely feels like progress. But after 30 days, after 60 days, after 90 days, the gains are exponential. The small, consistent actions accumulate. Your focus expands. Your control multiplies. Your mental strength compounds. And all of this comes from one principle: repeat. Every day, without exception, repetition rewires you. So here's your challenge. Pick one small focus-building action. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you can commit to consistently. Do it today. Do it tomorrow. Do it the next day. Make it non-negotiable. Track it. Notice the changes. And do not stop, because the power of this chapter isn't in one act. It's in repeated acts. It's in the consistent daily showing up. It's in the slow, relentless training that builds your mind like a fortress. Repetition rewires you. Remember this. The person who wins is rarely the one who starts fastest, knows the most, or has the biggest burst of effort. The person who wins is the one who shows up every day. The one who does the same small thing again and again until it becomes automatic. The one who refuses to skip reps. The one who understands that true strength is built rep by rep, day by day. That's you. That's what you're building. And there is no shortcut. There is no substitute. Repetition rewires you. Say it again. Say it with conviction. Repetition rewires you. Say it one more time. Repetition rewires you. Let it sink in. Let it become a mantra. Let it guide your daily actions. You've learned awareness, single task dominance, cutting noise, and sitting with boredom. Now you've discovered the final ingredient for unstoppable focus: consistent daily repetition. Combined, these tools build a mind that does not falter, a mind that doesn't negotiate with impulses, a mind that responds with precision and power. And the principle is simple: repetition rewires you. Next chapter, we'll take this even further and explore the fuel that powers all of this: internal drive that never quits. Chapter 6, master the microdiscipline moments. You want to be disciplined. You want to focus like a laser. You want to build mental strength. But here's the hard truth. Discipline is not built in big, dramatic actions. It's not built in massive, life-changing decisions. It's built in the tiny moments, the micro decisions you make hundreds of times every day. The moments you normally ignore. The moments that feel insignificant. The urge to check your phone. The temptation to scroll. The impulse to switch tasks mid-flow. The little mental shortcuts you take. These are your reps, and the way you handle them determines whether your mind grows weak or strong. Say it with me: small moments. Big discipline. Most people treat these micro moments as trivial. They brush them off, thinking they're meaningless. It's just a 5-second glance, they say. It won't matter, but it does matter. Every time you give in to distraction, every time you allow your attention to drift, every time you compromise a small choice, you weaken your mental muscle. And the opposite is true. Every time you resist, every time you make the conscious choice to stay focused, every time you honor the task at hand, you strengthen it. You are literally training your attention. You're doing a mental push-up. You're building a habit of control. Think of it like this: an athlete doesn't just train during practice. They train in every small movement, every lift, every rep, every stretch. Every step counts. That's exactly how attention works. Every micro moment counts. Every small decision is a workout for your focus muscle. Here's a simple example. Throughout the day, you feel the urge to check your phone. Most people follow the reflex. You don't. You resist for 30 seconds. You resist for 1 minute. Then 2. You've just done a rep for your attention muscle. Small, seemingly insignificant. but repeated hundreds of times, it compounds. Your ability to focus grows exponentially. Another example, you're working on a single task and your mind drifts toward a more entertaining distraction. Most people switch immediately. You notice the drift. You bring your attention back. You complete the task before moving on. Another rep, another strengthening moment. The principle is simple. Focus is forged in the overlooked moments. Discipline is cultivated in the micro decisions. Strength is developed in the small, repeated actions. And yet, most people sabotage themselves. They wait for motivation. They wait for inspiration. They wait for a perfect moment to focus. But micro-discipline doesn't wait. Micro-discipline exists in the now, in the tiny, repeated choices, in the unnoticed seconds that make up the hours of your day. Let's talk about how to train these moments intentionally. Step 1. Notice the urges. Pay attention to the impulses that pull you away from focus. The itch to check your phone. The thought that you need a break. The desire to switch tasks. Don't ignore it. Don't resist blindly. Notice it. Acknowledge it. Awareness is the first step in mastering microdiscipline. Step 2. Create a pause. When the urge arises, pause for 3 to 5 seconds before acting. That pause is your window of choice. You can follow the reflex, or you can act deliberately. Use the pause to decide, does this action serve my focus or sabotage it? Small, simple, powerful. Every pause is a micro workout for your attention muscle. Step 3. Reinforce the return. Once you resist the urge, bring your attention fully back to the task. Do not partially focus. Do not half engage. Commit. Finish the moment. Complete the action. That completion is the reward your brain needs to strengthen the new pathway. Step 4. Repeat. Microdiscipline is like a compound exercise. Every micro decision is a rep. The more you repeat it, the stronger your focus becomes. You don't skip reps. You don't cheat. You embrace the small moments because they create the big result. Let's make this concrete. Imagine your day is filled with 10 moments where you would normally give in to distraction. That's 10 reps, 10 opportunities to train your mind, 10 chances to choose focus, 10 chances to strengthen the neural pathways of attention. By the end of the day, you have built a stronger mind than most people develop in months of passive effort. The key is consistency. You don't need perfection. You need persistence. You don't need a flawless day. You need repeated commitment to small choices. The accumulation of microdiscipline is what creates macro results. Small moments, big discipline. Here's another real-world example. A student I coached struggled to complete homework without constant distraction. We implemented a micro-discipline strategy. Every time they felt the urge to check social media, they waited 10 seconds and returned to work. Within a week, they reported longer periods of focus. Within a month, the habit became automatic. They no longer had to force focus. It flowed naturally because their micro-decisions had trained their attention over time. Repetition rewired their brain. The same principle applies to you. Remember, the mind grows strong by repeated resistance to easy shortcuts. Every time you resist a trivial distraction, you are building an unshakable foundation. Every micro moment you control is a step toward mastery. Every choice reinforces your identity as someone who is deliberate, focused, and disciplined. And this is the final mindset shift. Microdiscipline is identity work, not effort work. You are not exerting willpower every moment. You are training your mind to respond automatically. You are building default behavior. You are creating a person who naturally focuses because every small decision has been accounted for. So repeat it until it sticks. Small moments. Big discipline. Say it again. Small moments. Big discipline. Say it one more time. Small moments. Big discipline. From now on, treat every micro decision as a rep, every tiny choice as a training opportunity, every urge as a chance to strengthen your focus. The results will not be immediate, but over time, they compound. Your mind will become stronger than it ever was. Your attention will become deeper than it ever was. Your discipline will become unstoppable. You've learned awareness. You've learned single-task dominance. You've cut the noise. You've embraced boredom. You've harnessed repetition. Now you will master the overlooked moments, the micro decisions that define your identity and your results. Chapter 7. Strengthen your focus through systems, not willpower. Most people believe that success comes from willpower. They think discipline is a finite resource. They wake up in the morning hoping they'll feel motivated enough to focus, to act, to execute. And then reality hits. Motivation is fleeting. Willpower is fragile. It wanes. It fails. Every single time. That's the problem. You cannot rely on fragile, inconsistent willpower to build lasting focus. You cannot depend on fleeting energy to make progress every day. You will fail every time. But here's the truth that separates high performers from everyone else. Systems keep you strong when motivation dies. Systems are permanent. Systems do not rely on mood. Systems do not rely on willpower. Systems do not collapse under stress. Systems automate focus, so effort becomes irrelevant. When you build the right system, your environment, routines, and habits carry you forward automatically. You show up, you follow the system, and results happen. Motivation becomes optional. Effort becomes consistent. Identity becomes aligned. Let me give you an example. Imagine a morning routine that requires 0 decisions. You wake up, water, movement, journaling, focus session, breakfast, work. Every action is pre-decided, pre-structured, and designed to maximize attention and minimize decision fatigue. No thinking about what comes next. No debate about what to do first. No negotiation with your impulses. The system handles it. And the result? Your focus launches at full power every single morning without relying on fragile motivation. That's the power of systems. That's the secret of high performers. Willpower is the spark. Systems are the engine. Without the engine, the spark dies. With the engine, the spark becomes irrelevant. You can be tired, unmotivated, distracted, even stressed, and your system carries you forward. Systems keep you strong when motivation dies. Let's break down how to build systems that automate focus. Step 1. Identify the repetitive tasks that drain mental energy. These are the decisions you make every day that sap attention. What to eat, when to check email, when to exercise, what to do first in the morning. Each repeated decision chips away at focus. A system reduces these choices to defaults. You automate the predictable. You free your brain to focus on what matters. Step 2. Build routines around high-impact behaviors. Focus is like a muscle. It needs exercise. Create a system where deep work becomes automatic. For example, if writing is essential, block the first hour of your day for writing. If planning is crucial, build a nightly review routine. These routines become non-negotiable. No willpower required. Your system enforces the action. Step 3. Remove friction for success. The system works best when obstacles are minimized. Prepare your workspace the night before. Lay out the tools you need. Close distracting tabs. Remove notifications. When the path of action is clear, your brain doesn't waste energy on friction. It focuses. A smooth system allows effortless execution. Here's a real-world story. A client of mine struggled with consistent focus. Every morning was a battle. Should they check emails? Should they start the project? Should they scroll social media first? Motivation fluctuated. Results suffered. We implemented a simple system. Wake up, water, 10-minute movement, 5-minute journaling, deep work block. Every step pre-decided. No debate. No willpower negotiation. Within a week, productivity doubled. Within a month, the brain no longer resisted the morning routine. It became automatic. Motivation didn't matter. Effort became consistent. Systems keep you strong when motivation dies. Here's the lesson. High performers don't rely on heroics. They rely on structure. They rely on automation. They rely on consistent environments and routines. Systems carry them through boredom, distraction, and low energy. You can do the same. You don't need heroic willpower. You need intelligent systems. Now, let's address a common mistake. Thinking systems are rigid, boring, or inflexible. That's false. A well-designed system adapts while maintaining structure. The framework is fixed. The execution may vary slightly, but the path is clear. The rules are pre-decided, and the brain learns to follow the system automatically, without debate, without resistance, without relying on fleeting motivation. Repetition is baked into the system. Habit stacks are part of the design. Each action triggers the next. Each task feeds the next. Momentum is built into the architecture. And over time, your system not only carries you forward, it rewires your brain to be consistently focused. Systems keep you strong when motivation dies. Here's a practical example you can implement today. Morning system. Wake up, hydrate, stretch, 10-minute mental rehearsal, 30 minutes deep work. Work system. 90-minute work blocks, 10-minute breaks, single task focus, no notifications. Evening system. Review day, plan tomorrow, clear workspace, digital shutdown. Notice the pattern. Everything is pre-decided, automated, and designed to remove mental friction. The system doesn't rely on mood or willpower. It executes automatically. You follow the path. You achieve results. You grow stronger. Let's emphasize it again. The greatest barrier to focus is relying on inconsistent internal energy. Willpower fails. Motivation fluctuates. Emotions waver. But a system? A system is consistent. A system is unstoppable. A system transforms effort into identity. You become a person who focuses because your system enforces it. Not because you feel like it. Not because you convince yourself. Not because luck favors you. The system carries you, and you follow it. Systems keep you strong when motivation dies. So, here's a directive. Stop relying on willpower alone. Stop trusting that motivation will save you. Examine your daily routines. Identify friction. Remove it. Build pre-decided actions. Automate the predictable. Protect your attention. Strengthen your focus with structure. Build systems that do the work for you, so your brain doesn't have to. Say it with me, out loud. Systems keep you strong when motivation dies. Say it again. Systems keep you strong when motivation dies. Say it one more time. Systems keep you strong when motivation dies. This is the mindset and strategy that separates the high performers, the people who get things done every single day, from those who rely on fleeting effort and fail repeatedly. Systems are permanent. Systems outlast willpower. Systems win. You've learned to master micro-discipline. You've harnessed repetition. You've embraced boredom. You've cut noise. Now you're building a framework that protects your focus from the unpredictability of your internal energy. Chapter 8. Protect your attention like it's currency. Your attention is finite. Your attention is powerful. Your attention is valuable. In fact, it's more valuable than money, more valuable than time, more valuable than almost anything else in your life. Because without it, nothing else matters. No skill, no relationship, no income, no health, no growth. You can have everything else, but if your attention is scattered, if it's stolen by trivial things, if it's diluted by noise, you will accomplish very little. And here's the truth most people ignore. Attention is being stolen from you every single day. Notifications, social media feeds, emails you don't need to check, news alerts, endless tabs open in your browser, open loops in your mind, mental clutter you never cleared. Every one of these is a thief. Every one of these is a tax on your cognitive currency. And if you don't protect your attention, if you don't guard it, you will wake up one day realizing that months of your life have been spent giving your energy to things that don't matter. Say it with me. Guard your attention. Guard your life. Attention is currency, and like money, you have a limited budget. If you spend it recklessly on junk, you end up poor. If you invest it wisely, you build wealth. The principle is simple, but it is ignored by most. What you give your attention to grows. What you ignore fades. Here's a real-world example. A client of mine realized that she was spending 3 hours a day scrolling social media, checking news, and reacting to every notification. She was exhausted, unproductive, and frustrated. We created an attention budget. She cut 40% of the digital distractions. She allocated that time to writing, skill building, and creative projects. Within a month, her output doubled. Her mental clarity increased. Her sense of purpose returned. She treated her attention like money, and it paid dividends. This is the core lesson. Attention is your most valuable resource, and if you don't guard it, it will be stolen. The stakes are high. You have a choice every day. Scatter your attention or protect it. And protecting it isn't complicated, it's deliberate. Here's how you do it. Step 1. Identify your attention leaks. Track where your focus goes. Which apps, notifications, or habits are draining your energy? Which habits fragment your mental clarity? Write them down. Awareness is the first step in reclaiming your currency. Step 2. Eliminate or limit low-value attention drains. This is the digital detox principle. Turn off notifications. Block apps during work periods. Close unnecessary browser tabs. Clear clutter in your physical and mental environment. Every time you remove a leak, you strengthen your attention bank. Step 3. Reinvest attention into high-value areas. Once you reclaim focus, redirect it toward activities that grow your life. Deep work, learning, relationships, exercise, creative output, purposeful action. Think of it like investing money. Your attention compounds when it flows into productive channels. Step 4. Guard attention aggressively. Every time you feel the pull to distraction, remind yourself, this is my currency. I will spend it wisely. Make it a habit to pause before reacting to any pull on your focus. Every choice matters. Every moment counts. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine your attention is a wallet filled with cash. Every notification, every distraction, every low-value task is someone reaching into your pocket. If you let them, your wallet will be empty by the end of the day. If you protect it, if you allocate each dollar deliberately, you will have wealth to invest where it counts. And the returns are exponential. This is why high performers treat their attention like a sacred resource. They don't check their phones first thing in the morning. They don't allow every email or message to dictate their actions. They don't give their energy to things that won't produce long-term returns. They understand a simple truth. Attention is life. Protect it relentlessly. And notice this, attention compounds just like money. 10 minutes of wasted focus may seem small, but it adds up. 10 minutes of deliberate focus may seem small, but it compounds into skill, mastery, and results. Every micro decision about what you pay attention to either builds wealth or drains it. Let's talk about the practical daily application. Set attention boundaries. Schedule blocks of time where distractions are prohibited. Treat these blocks like non-negotiable appointments. Use attention triage. Not every message or notification deserves an immediate response. Decide what matters most and act accordingly. Create focus rituals. A clean workspace, pre-decided work sessions, and minimal distractions signal to your brain that attention is a priority. And here's a critical mindset. You don't need permission to guard your attention. You don't need approval from your peers, your boss, or your family. You do not negotiate with thieves of your mental energy. You set the boundaries. You control the flow. You decide where your attention goes. Say it again, guard your attention. Guard your life. Say it again, guard your attention. Guard your life. Say it one more time, guard your attention. Guard your life. Attention is the foundation of everything else. Focus, discipline, productivity, creativity, and purpose. If you lose attention, you lose leverage over your life. If you protect it, you gain control. If you invest it wisely, you create compounding results that others will never reach because they spent their energy on trivial distractions. This is non-negotiable. Your attention is finite. It is your currency. Treat it as such. Protect it with discipline, with boundaries, with systems, and with deliberate choices. Your results depend on it. Your life depends on it. Now that you've learned to guard your attention, you're ready to harness the next level of internal drive that powers relentless focus, unstoppable action, and unshakable discipline. Chapter 9. Train your impulse response. Your mind is constantly under attack, not by enemies outside, but by impulses inside. That is to check your phone, that urge to scroll, that craving for distraction, that reflex to react emotionally, instantly, without thinking. These impulses are tiny, but they are deadly. They erode focus. They drain energy. They sabotage results. Here's the hard truth. If you cannot control your impulses, you cannot control your mind. And if you cannot control your mind, you cannot control your life. Every major breakthrough, every deep work session, every meaningful achievement requires the ability to pause before you act, to respond deliberately, not react instinctively. Say it with me. Delay the impulse. Build the discipline. Most people operate on autopilot. They act first, think later. They follow the reflex, not the plan. They give attention to the loudest signal in the moment, not the most important task. And the cost is massive. Scattered energy, unfinished projects, wasted hours, lost opportunities. But here's the empowering truth. Impulses can be trained. They're not fixed. They are not permanent. Like a muscle, they can be strengthened or weakened, depending on how you respond to them. The stronger your impulse control, the deeper your focus. The sharper your discipline, the greater your results. Let me introduce you to a simple, actionable technique, the 10-second impulse gap. It's simple. Whenever an impulse arises, you pause for 10 seconds before acting. 10 seconds may seem small, but it's a window of control. 10 seconds is enough for your prefrontal cortex to override your immediate reaction. 10 seconds trains your brain that action follows intention, not instinct. Here's how it works. You feel the urge to check your phone. Most people act immediately. You pause. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. You notice the feeling. You feel the urge. You acknowledge it. Then you decide, will I act or will I redirect? Most impulses will fade. Most distractions lose their grip if you give them a few seconds. And every time you successfully pause, you are training your discipline. Delay the impulse. Build the discipline. Let's make this more concrete. Imagine you are writing an important report. Your email notification pops up. The reflex screams, check it now. You implement the 10-second gap. You pause. You breathe. You redirect to the report. 10 seconds later, the urge diminishes. You continue uninterrupted. That small pause, so simple, rebuilds control over your mind. Here's the power of repetition. The more you apply the 10-second gap, the stronger your internal quiet becomes. The louder the impulse, the easier it becomes to ignore. The more frequent the distraction, the more automatic your discipline response. Over time, you will notice something remarkable. Your reactions slow down naturally. You stop giving away energy. You stop scattering attention. You stop being a slave to every urge that passes through your mind. Delay the impulse. Build the discipline. You can expand this principle beyond digital distractions. Every emotional reaction, every verbal outburst, every rush to judgment is an impulse. Every time you pause and respond deliberately, you are strengthening your mind. Every time you resist the first instinct, you are exercising self-mastery. Every small gap is a rep in your mental training program. Here's a practical routine for mastering impulses. Daily awareness practice. Throughout your day, notice every urge to react immediately. Label it. Observe it. Pause. Implement the gap. Commit to a 10-second pause, or longer if needed, before acting on any impulse. Breathe. Center yourself. Decide intentionally. Reinforce the success. Every time you delay successfully, mentally acknowledge the victory. Every small win compounds. Every pause strengthens the muscle. Consider this real-world example. An entrepreneur I coached struggled with reactive emails. Every notification demanded an immediate response. His attention fragmented constantly. We implemented the 10-second impulse gap. 10 seconds became a habit, then 20 seconds, then a minute. Within weeks, he could work uninterrupted for hours. His focus deepened. His output skyrocketed. He became the master of his reactions, not a slave to them. Delay the impulse. Build the discipline. And here's the secret. Impulses are strongest in moments of stress, boredom, or fatigue. That's exactly when training them matters most. When the mind is tired, it wants shortcuts. When the brain is restless, it wants stimulation. When emotions flare, it wants reaction. These are the moments that define you. These are the moments that create either mastery or chaos. If you can pause in these moments, if you can train your impulse response when it's hardest, you build an unshakable focus that no distraction can break. Remember this mantra: delay the impulse. Build the discipline. Repeat it. Live it. Internalize it. Make it your daily practice. Make it your default response. Make it the filter through which every action passes. Now, take it a step further. Combine micro-discipline moments with impulse training. Every time a small temptation arises, pause. Redirect. Return to your task. Each micro-moment becomes a rep. Each rep strengthens the muscle. Your attention, your willpower, your focus all grow exponentially. High performers do this automatically. They don't act on every impulse. They pause. They breathe. They choose. They conserve energy for what matters. And you can do the same. It's not magic. It's training. It's deliberate. It's repetition. Let me leave you with this truth. Impulse mastery is the bridge between distraction and deep focus. You cannot skip it. You cannot outsource it. You cannot wish it into existence. You build it one pause at a time, one small decision at a time, one controlled response at a time, and the results compound. Say it with conviction. Delay the impulse. Build the discipline. Say it again. Delay the impulse. Build the discipline. Say it one last time. Delay the impulse. Build the discipline. You have learned awareness, micro-discipline, boredom tolerance, repetition, systems, and attention protection. Now, by mastering your impulses, you are closing the final gap. You are turning scattered reactions into deliberate responses. You are transforming fleeting urges into controlled power. Chapter 10. Build the identity of a focused person. You've trained your attention. You've built micro-discipline. You've harnessed repetition. You've embraced systems. You've learned to guard your attention. You've mastered your impulses. You've sat with boredom. You've done the work. You put in the reps. Now it's time for the final, most powerful transformation, becoming the person who embodies focus, not just practicing it, but living it. Because here's the truth. Anyone could do a focus exercise for a day. Anyone can resist one distraction. Anyone can complete a micro decision or follow a system. But most people never make the leap from doing to being. Most people train their mind temporarily, then return to old habits. They try to act focused, but their identity says otherwise. Identity is the ultimate lever. When you shift who you believe you are, every choice, every action, every habit aligns automatically. Focus is no longer a practice. It becomes your default. You no longer have to struggle. You no longer have to force attention. Your identity drives the behavior. And this is the final step in training your mind like a muscle. Say it with me. Act like the person you want to become now. Here's how to make it real. Identity statements and behavior alignment. Step 1. Craft your identity statement. Say it aloud every morning. I'm a focused person. I'm disciplined. I control my attention. I prioritize purpose over distraction. Say it repeatedly. Believe it. Internalize it. The brain responds to identity cues more powerfully than to willpower alone. Your repeated focus behaviors will now have a framework to attach to. Act like the person you want to become now. Step 2. Align daily behaviors with that identity. Focus isn't just a concept, it's action. Every micro moment, every decision, every routine should reflect who you are becoming. When the phone buzzes, you act like the person you want to be, deliberate, disciplined, focused. When a distraction arises, you act like the person you want to be, calm, controlled, attentive. Identity isn't aspirational, it's operational. Act like the person you want to become now. Step 3. Ritualize reinforcement. Create small daily rituals that remind your mind of who you are. Journaling, meditation, deep work blocks, attention audits, all signal to your brain. This is me. This is who I am. Over time, these behaviors no longer require effort. They become automatic extensions of your identity. Act like the person you want to become now. Step 4. Catch yourself in old patterns and redirect. You will still feel old impulses. You will still face distractions. You will still feel tempted to revert. That's normal. The difference is now you have an identity to guide you. You notice the drift. You pause. You redirect. You act like the person you are becoming, not the person you were. This is how transformation becomes permanent. Act like the person you want to become now. Let me give you a real-world example. A professional I coached used to procrastinate on important tasks, giving attention to trivial distractions. We introduced focus exercises, impulse control, and attention audits. But the turning point came when they adopted an identity statement. I am someone who honors my attention above all else. Suddenly, every micro decision aligned with that identity. Focus became effortless. Distraction became unnatural. Identity carried the work. Results followed automatically. Here's the most important insight. Identity compounds the effort you've already invested. All the micro-discipline moments, all the repetitions, all the systems you've built, they now anchor to your identity. You're no longer fighting to stay focused. You are naturally the type of person who stays focused. You are no longer performing discipline. You're discipline incarnate. And notice this. When your identity drives your actions, you no longer rely on motivation. You no longer negotiate with willpower. You no longer feel the struggle of effort. You act naturally, consistently, deliberately, because who you are is focused, disciplined, and purpose-driven. So let this be your final mantra. Act like the person you want to become now. Say it with me. Act like the person you want to become now. Say it again. Act like the person you want to become now. Say it one more time. Act like the person you want to become now. Your mind has been trained. Your habits have been strengthened. Your impulses have been mastered. Your systems have been implemented. Your attention is guarded. Your repetition is hardened. And now your identity is aligned. This is the point where transformation becomes permanent. This is the moment where focus is no longer a practice. It is who you are. Now, as you step out of this audiobook, here's the challenge. Do not just practice focus, become it. Live it. Breathe it. Own it. Your life will reflect your identity. Your results will follow your attention. And your purpose will be unstoppable. Before you go, take a moment to commit to this identity. Say it aloud. I'm a focused person. I act deliberately. I prioritize purpose over distraction. I am in control of my attention. Repeat it daily. Anchor your behaviors. Let your identity carry your growth forward. And if you want more strategies, exercises, and daily coaching to continue sharpening your focus, make sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. Each video is designed to give you the next rep in building the mind, identity, and life you deserve. You've done the work. You've trained the muscle. You've mastered your impulses. And now, you're the person who embodies focus. Act like the person you want to become now. Act like the person you want to become now. Act like the person you want to become now. This is your life, your mind, your attention, your identity. Guard it, train it, and live it.